Hey Roger, how are you? I hope you are well. I have to just tell the truth. I really miss you. I have not been able to, and I mean that in a good way. Don't let Mirka get mad at me. I don't mean it like that, but I have completely since the U.S. Open, I haven't been able to follow anything. I've been like so inundated with other stuff. So I was just like catching up on a few things the other day and anyway, so it's like 1 a.m. here. I was just about to go to bed a little while ago, and all of a sudden I was checking my email, and okay, let me just go off the side for a second. Google has this thing, like, where they just want to know every single inch of your personal life. I tell you, they probably will want to know who the hell you've been into bed with next. I mean, they want your phone number. They're constantly scanning your email, send you different advertisements, and then they force you. I think it was like 2 years ago. They like force you to conform to Gmail so that you could have a YouTube account. So I just really wasn't feeling that, even though I already had a YouTube account and I already had a Gmail account, but I just didn't appreciate Google like forcing me into it. So their latest thing now is to like scan my email, scan my YouTube, and populate my personal email with things that I like. So now I'm getting around to the point. So here I look on, like, I guess it's a dashboard for Gmail. I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I see big old picture of you and Paul Anacone. And then I see this is somebody's blog or whatever, and that I could give it a thumbs up and all this. I'm just like, I really don't need Google to like shove stuff in my face, even though I love Roger Federer. I'm just saying, like, I don't need Google like all of my personal life. It's a little bit annoying. So anyway, I heard, I'm like reading that you fired Paul Anacone, or did you like let him go? Wow, Roger. Um, so I don't even know what to really think of that, because my initial feelings, like if you go back to probably 2011, I made a video to you and Paul Anacone where I made comments like I just didn't understand, you know, what was happening, how I was wondering how your development was going, because I felt like you had a coach and that you were still performing and kicking out the same results when you didn't, as when you didn't have a coach. So I was wondering what points of development were happening. So I can't say that I'm against the decision or anything like that. And then I know on my very fast forwarding to 2013, I know in my very last video I had mentioned to you that a lot of people have been like, they want you to fire your coach anyway. I wasn't 100% sure personally that that was necessarily the right decision. But then again, I don't work closely with Paul. I mean, and you are the tennis expert, so I mean I can't really make a real assessment on that except what I've always said, which I felt like you know I feel to a certain extent, is my hunch, that whatever coaching that he did lend to you probably didn't work too much for your own model, and that I just feel, and a lot of your fans feel this way, like it takes, and I don't mean any harm, this probably sound like a little bit of a broken record, but it takes time for you to make changes with certain things. And also there are people don't understand. I think the biggest thing with Roger Federer is that he's just super amazing, obviously. I mean, it's nothing that you don't know about my opinion regarding that, but super amazing, and just doesn't have enough, hasn't been able to get over certain mental hurdles. And even though I think you were amazing and in so many ways in last year, 2012, I mean, how you really tried to wrestle your own mental demons. And when I'm saying this, I am not saying, I'm saying that this is not something that is unusual. I mean, I have my own issues with mental blocks and things like that, you know, and challenges and really fighting with my own self. But, you know, we're not here to ever talk about me really too much, even though I talk a lot. Anyway, so it kind of reminded me of this picture, Roger. Like, I do this, actually, I haven't done anything with, I really enjoy watercolor, and I do it like a very amateur way. I just, you know, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years ago, I was like walking down the street with my mother in like the Village in New York, and I was like, you know, I just really want to do some kind of artistic expression. And she brought me this, you know, we happened to be walking past this painting supply place, and so she brought me this watercolor set, which I was really happy about because I think watercolor is so beautiful. I mean, people who really know how to do watercolor and just rock it out, and I just think they're so talented. So anyway, long story short, this picture I'm about to show you is about, I don't know, I think it's going on 2 years now since I have started it. It's, yeah, yeah. I mean, in probably like 3 more months, it'll be like 2 years old. And I don't know if you could tell, I have never finished it. It's, let me see it. I like to paint landscapes and stuff like that. So, the biggest thing that I looked at like this year is, you know, I painted this picture with the hands on the windows, and I never finished the picture. I've always been very self-conscious of my hands because I have like big hands for a girl and big feet for a girl. But even though now people say, oh, we don't notice or whatever. But in the videos you can notice how big my hands are. Anyway, so I had to do in this training too something where I was depicting my hands, and actually, I'm sorry, I just realized, I'm like freaking rambling, but I just realized actually this picture isn't 2 years old. It's like well, anyway, never mind. So, I mean, I'm just looking at this window, right? And it just made me kind of think of you and also myself as well. Like, outside of this window is this beautiful landscape, but inside is the person who wants to get out into that landscape, and their hands are on the window like, I just want to be there. And I'm just wondering, I just figured I would show you this picture, you know, just to remind you kind of like, well, where are you blocking yourself? Because I drew this picture like just, you know, I just draw a lot of landscapes, and then one day it dawned on me, I was like, oh my gosh, you're like drawing all the secrets in your heart or something like that. And because that's all that I draw is like mountains and oceans and sunsets and stuff like that. Anyway, so I looked at this recently and I was like, my goodness, you know, like, what's stopping me from getting out there, you know? And that is kind of the way I feel in a lot of certain ways. And where am I not exactly showing up? So I kind of just wanted to show you this as well. Like, you know, congratulations on making a decision to, I don't know, move on with new so-called leadership or whatever. But where are you holding yourself back, you know? And I think that's a lot where your fans feel like, where do you want to be, Roger, you know? And can you open like this window and just step out and really just pull the fruit off the tree and take a bite of it and, you know, really do it? Because I really think that honestly the answer is not your coach. At the end, I think a lot of it is, I mean, sure, you could probably get another coach, maybe somebody a little more strategic or whatever, you know. I'm not sure. Why did Roger Rashid pop into my head just now? I mean, Sangha freaking fired him, but I think Sangha is a nut. Like, he's just like a madman, a little bit. He started doing better under Roger Rashid, and then he fired him. But I think that there's a certain, I'm sorry, I'm going off on another tangent right now, but I think it's a certain lack of discipline that Sangha has, and I suspect that that was a certain point of tension, or not tension necessarily, but difference. And, I could totally be wrong on this, but it's just what I suspect. I was like, Coach will get you to working and doing this, that, and the third and trying to focus. And Sangha just doesn't have that in a lot of ways. Talented, but doesn't have, not that serious. So anyway, Roger, I don't know why Roger Rashid popped into my head. But I don't know, are you getting a new coach? And at the end of the day, I think it's important to really look at, besides the coach and the outer stuff, like where are you in your own way? Where are you not being your own best friend? I've said that a lot of times. And, I think some of the challenges that you've had, have been just mental blocks. I don't even think it has to do with the coach. And I remember at one point, World Tour Finals, I think it was 2012, which you should have won. You absolutely should have won. And I think you would have fired me personally as a coach, because maybe I would have been a little bit emotional sort of about it and been like, how the hell did you give that away? I don't know personally. But I feel that you're going to struggle sort of with some of the same issues, because it's not necessarily the coach, it's yourself in certain ways. It's the mental dialogue, it's the negative belief system. And it's not to say that, oh my God, you're like, for real, you're like a best tennis player to like player to ever hold a racket. But and you absolutely, me, you absolutely should be excelling a lot more. And at this period in time, there's really not much of a reason for you not to be excelling consistently. I mean, perhaps you have, maybe it's more so your back issues and stuff like that. But outside of your back issues, because I realize you don't really complain about that too much. Maybe you dawned on me, some other fans said some stuff like maybe you have more issues than you relate to the public. I'm not sure. But I feel like a lot of your issues are not necessarily physical. I mean, I could be wrong, but I really think they're mental. And as long as you don't start changing those belief systems within yourself and getting over all of that old, trash and garbage from the past, and, with Rafa, with, everybody, then you're just not going to be able to really, you're just going to be sort of spinning your wheels and in the same position. So I just wanted to let you know that, and, good luck. I'm rooting for you all the time. I've totally missed following you, Roger. Oh my gosh, I haven't been able to lately. I saw you in, I don't know what round you went out in Shanghai or whatever, but I was just, looking over that. And I really hope that you're able to make a World Tour Finals. But, if you're not, I really feel like 2014 is the year for you to really stand in the truth of who you are, get your ranking back, win tournaments, still be a absolute top contender, which you are. There's absolutely no reason that you shouldn't be performing at a top level, and there's no reason that you shouldn't at least be in the top. Let's say, all right. No, I don't want to aim low, but there's just no reason for you not to be in the top 3. There's no reason. I mean, Murray shouldn't be ahead of you. Really. And if you made some strategic tweaks, neither Rafa nor Djokovic will really be able to get past you. They have athleticism, and again, they hit with 2 hands. So, I mean, a lot of these guys are hitting with 2 hands, they're generating more power, and they're exploiting you. I don't know how many times I have to say that, you probably know, but you got to get somebody who would just sit down and watch all these videos and be able to tell you, what went wrong, And even though, you usually are good at that, you usually have all that stuff in your head, but I think it also hits you emotionally. And I'm not sure that you even watch your matches that you lost, but somebody on your team should be saying, you did this against this, and your stats went down here against this type of person, and I noticed trends. Like, somebody should be able to give you that kind of data, so that I think data helps you, because it helps not destroy your confidence, but it helps you be able to tweak things in the right way, or just understand certain things that need to go on or don't need to go on, and so that doesn't hit your confidence. It doesn't put a blow. It doesn't erode your confidence, rather than just losing a match and losing another match, and then losing in the second round here and there. I think that, a coaching team who would be able to look at your stats and stuff like that and notice trends, and then from there you should be able to tweak and extract a better strategy, because you are truly talented, more talented than any of these people. And on every given good day, I mean, these guys know it. Trust me, Rafa knows you are a better player than him. He has said it. Uncle Tony has said it. Joker knows too. And they get this look on their face, like when you're winning, because I think in the last couple of years they kind of feel that you're a little bit beatable. But I think people only feel you're beatable when you're down and, oh, Roger's a little getting down on himself, or Roger, typically he'll hold it up he'll hold it up one set, but if I keep going against him or whatever, he'll like psych himself out and start making errors. Because that's all that you really do, Roger. A lot of times is make a lot of errors. But, I mean, honestly, you cut down on your errors a lot last year. But I'm telling you, this is what people think in the back of their head. All right, Roger got that first set, but, I know somehow that mental dialogue is going to start wearing down, and he's going to make errors, or somehow disqualify himself out of winning the second set and the third set, if I could just keep it up with him. And now when you're winning against Joker and Rafa and all these people, there's a certain look kind of, I don't know how to explain that look, but they know it's like, oh, he's on. They know, I'm telling you, Roger, I'm telling you, they know when you're on. They know when you are 100% on, you are unbeatable, that they cannot beat you, no matter how much Rafa does. Rafa just has a natural thing inside of him where he does not want to lose. He's just naturally built. There's just something within his system, and he doesn't mind just doing all he can do, and I mean, he's had a really good year, although I still think, personally, I'm not going back on this or whatever. I respect Rafa, all these tournaments he came back and won and stuff like that, but I still think that there's somehow, some way he's juicing, and there's only a matter of time, whether it comes out now or if it comes out when you guys are 4 years old. Rafa, I think, is juicing. That's what I think. He came back all skinny, and now he's all big again, and, I think he's just on the juice. I'm sorry, I do. I think he's probably like a little bit of a Lance Armstrong case, a little elusive, and it's going to take time. It's unfortunate, because I like Rafa so much, and it's hard not to respect the just plain old natural spirit of Rafa, which is the same thing like with Lance Armstrong. You can inject anything into your system, except you can't inject the will to win. That doesn't come in a pill. It doesn't come in a bottle. It's like a natural. But the will to win also could be unhealthy, so strong that it's unhealthy, whereas, it drives you to do illegal things, and I do, Rafa's will is strong to win, and I do not put it past him to cheat and do stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm not saying he's such a terrible person, but I'm just saying he's a victim to probably that element, and you can see some of it come out in his game, because the bathroom breaks and not showing up, the pointing to the sky when Djokovic is winning at Roland Garros. Don't you wanna stop? I mean, I feel a drop of rain. All of a sudden, the little tactics Rafa has done. So, I mean, those little things spill over. But anyway, getting back to you. All right, I'm just gonna end this right here. But I just want to say, I'm super proud of you. You know what? You had a long year last year. I know you had some really tough emotional battles, and you had double battles in all of your matches last year because you were battling yourself mentally and you were battling the opponent. And I think for Wimbledon, I think for the Olympics, I think for especially those two. Those were the biggest ones where I think you took especially a huge amount of strain. Because I feel like Madrid, you came back like fresh, ready to go. So I feel for Wimbledon and the Olympics, like there were times where you were battling yourself and you were wrestling yourself and you did it successfully. You overcame yourself and you were able to win the match. So I do think there was a lot of mental strain possibly there all last year, and then plus having the Olympics in your schedule last year as well must have been crazy. And I personally do think Rafa kind of falling out of Wimbledon last year. It's just natural that when you have that, so many years, you have this one person, and then they kind of drop off. It does kind of throw you off a bit, because I think energetically you begin, when you have so much with one person, it kind of becomes energetically like a seesaw, because almost every tournament for a lot of your career and almost all of his, you guys have just been head to head in the finals all the time. And so now you were always energetically, the both of you, Roger Rafa, and then the media was doing that to you too. So it's kind of like you guys are on this energetic sort of, I guess you could say it's something that works like a seesaw. And so when he drops out, then it kind of like offsets you. I think on some level, I really truly do think that happens. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, I'm sorry I'm rambling, but you can totally have gotten rid of Paul Anaco and all that. Maybe that's a lot of money back in your pocket. And by the way, I know I'm like jumping all over the place, but I saw something the other day where it said, I was watching, you did double tournament with a player from China. That was very nice. The chemistry was kind of weird. It was kind of like, are they even speaking? And and then you guys sat down and you had said something, and I was like, oh, okay, they are speaking. This was so weird. The chemistry you guys had. Anyway, whatever. So they showed your stats and your career prize money, and it was like $77 million. And then the other guys, they were partner. I don't know. His last name was Zhang. I know that. I'm pretty sure it was Zhang, but he had, and I'm not laughing at him or putting him down. But they showed yours and then they showed his, and I was like, can these people be serious? Like showing Roger Federer's career prize money and then showing this other player's career prize money at like $257,000 compared to $77 million. I mean, that was just so damn wrong, okay? It was wrong. Anyway, damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. It's 1:30 in the morning, and I'm just bugging out right now. Let me get back to this. Yeah, getting rid of the coach and all, definitely it might be a really good move, Maybe you can get somebody who could strategize more in the way that you want to play and not, maybe you never fit into that model that Paul Anaco had. Too much serve and too much volley. I'm not sure. I don't really know tennis that great, but maybe you can get a good strategic coach. But I really think, mental fitness is super important. and I think you really ought to hire somebody and get mental fitness. And fans, I'm saying, Roger, I've said this in a couple of videos ago, you know, if you want to look on YouTube yourself or on Twitter or wherever, just put in Roger Federer, especially after you've played a match, especially after you've played an important match against one of the top 5. You will see people go, oh, Roger's being Roger. Oh, here we go. Oh, yep. What do they call you sometimes? And I'm not trying to be cruel. Shankerer. Do you know they call you that? Shankerer? So, and I'm only telling you this, and oh my God, I just really realized that probably sounded so mean. And I honestly didn't mean it like that. I just mean it from this true loving place, because I know, and people know, that you are highly capable of so much more, and that you're just not fully stepped in or locked in or dialed in. And people are like, oh, there you go, start shanking the balls again, or whatever. So you can get rid of the coach, but the mental aspect and the mental challenges and the mental dialogue and the negative belief system that fuels this dialogue is still going to be with you. So, you know that saying that they say, that stupid saying you used to see like in the cartoons back in the 80s, no matter where you go, there you are. So, you know, no matter where you go, there you are, Roger. You know, fire your coach. Still going to be Roger Federer. So, I think the main thing is you got rid of Paul Anacone, fine. But, again, the mental aspect is what needs to be worked on, and you really need somebody to get in there and help you, you know, undo some knots from the past, mental knots, and all of those little PowerPoints that are, you know, will drain you before the game or drain you before a match that you're winning. Because honestly, that match against Rafa, I can't remember where it was, just probably 6-7 weeks ago or whatever. You won the first set. You were looking so good. You were on top of it, playing your point. Like, man, I was super proud of you. I was super proud of you. Well, I'm always pretty proud of you. But, yeah, like I'm your mom or something, right? Probably was your mom in another life or something. Some reason for me to make all these videos. You know, I know you're already, it's not like I'm in love, you know, it's like you're married. I always, you know, I'm not, you know, I love you like a brother, though. But I'm just saying. I'm crazy right now. So anyway, yeah, I'm just, you know, just want you to recognize that, you know, dig in and really get someone to help you. You know, I always say Michael Gervais, I'm friends with him on Facebook, and you should be like friends with him too. It's Gervais, and he works in producing in high pressure situations, excelling and thriving under those conditions like you're working with. I think he would be really good. If he is not good for you, then he should be able to recommend someone who would be able to work with you. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna sign off. I started to make a video for you just about 2 days ago, just to say hello, how are you? But yeah, I couldn't get around to it. So anyway, all right. Bye and good luck, and you know, finish out the season really strong. You know, finish it out really strong. Do your best. Be careful not to equate where you are, your ranking, or going out in the first, second, and third rounds or whatever. Don't equate that with loss of ability. It's just that the players have noticed how to neutralize a lot of your shots. And again, you know, hitting with one hand, you know, a lot of time, how much more power can you really keep generating off of that? one-handed thing. So it's naturally kind of a bit of a disadvantage. So I think a lot of players are just figuring out those ways, and that's what's happening with you. So you got to figure out a way around that. But it's not a comment on your ability or your age or anything like that. You really should be continuing to excel. And I saw it somewhere where you said you were looking forward to 2014, and that's all great, good. I love it that you want to bounce back, but I think you need to plan it down right here. You know what I mean? Just keep playing, play hard through the rest of the season. Don't just play hard, as my neighbor says. You have to play smart. You must play smart. It is not enough for you to just be a hard worker. You must be smart. And of course, you're very smart. So I know you will do this. I have total faith in you. Keep plugging away, Roger. It's all about how you want to write your book, and it seems like you're making decisions to do that, and you're making executive decisions, and it seems clearly that was a big executive decision to get rid of your coach. And, I think whoever you bring on and stuff like that, too, like, I think the important things are to ask is, how are you going to have me develop? How are you going to be able to tailor something where I'm winning and I'm playing in my own style? How are you going to be utilizing your time? I feel like you need somebody who's going to be working on the court for you and off the court. Perhaps Paul Hannah was doing that or whatever, but I really feel like if you're going to bring on a team of people like you had before, where it's like 3 guys sitting with an RF hat in the booth, Roger, that somebody needs to be watching your matches. All the matches that you lose, that should be a fucking prerequisite, Roger. Okay, if you don't want to watch the matches, the people you hire should be freaking watching the matches you lost, and they should be picking up trends. All right, listen, you know what? You came to net. This is a bad example because I don't know much to say, so I'm just gonna say what I've said, what I've seen in a lot of the obvious stuff. You came to net. You hit a drop shot. In this position, in this position, and you lost it or whatever. So drop shots against this person is not going to be that great. Drop shots against this person is not going to be that great, and you notice the trend. The freaking drop shot is like, I just don't think it's much of an option. Yeah. But anyway, that's not a good example, but you need somebody who's going to not only just be sitting on the court for you, but they need to be doing the work. They need to be figuring out the stats. They need to be figuring out the trends of where you are getting neutralized in your game, pinpoint that, and go from there. And you need to have a prerequisite for a coach. Like, you need to hire somebody who's going to be passionate and just into looking at all of your old matches. I think that you should be having whoever your new coach is, and I don't give a fuck. If they don't want to do it, then they don't want to be hired. They should be looking at your tennis matches at least from the last 3 years, and not off the head like, oh, well, I've seen all your matches and this is what happens with you now. No. If they're not going to do it, they're going to have a really passionate assistant who's going to sit down and look at every shot and every neutralization that happened to you. And I think some of the best ones are, it's interesting. I mean, even looking at the Australian Open last year is really good because you can see you played pretty much, if I remember correctly, the same way against everyone. But in each, you were able to get past, Tomic, Raonic, those guys. And who's that guy? Andreas. Whoever you played in the first round, I kind of, And then there was like there's another person, but I forget who. And then there was Sangha. And then it was like Sangha almost won against you. And then, but you were able to get past him, of course, because he has so much of his own just lack of intensity. He's got power, he's got talent, but it's that mental thing for him, and that he just doesn't believe he's supposed to win anyway. That's just my thing with Sangha. He tries to convince himself out of every win. So anyway, if he didn't have that going, honestly, he would have beaten you in that match. And then Murray, you know, for me, it's like there's no real reason why you should be losing to Murray. There's no reason. You know, the fact you had to take it to a fifth set against him too is okay because, again, he has that two-handed against your one-handed, but even so, I mean, he's just less of a superior player. I'm sorry, he's good, but, you know, for me, he's always pretty much been overrated. I mean, especially when he first came on the scene. Now, I don't know, that year he took out Rafa, I had a new respect for Murray and stuff like that, but, you know, he's just not, there's no reason to really should be losing to him. It's not to say that he isn't good, it's not to say that, but there's no real reason at its core, at the core of the truth, that you should lose to him. So I would just say, a prerequisite is somebody who's going to sit there and do the work that you don't want to do, which is figure out where you're being neutralized and why. That some of the offensive decisions you are choosing to make, where you're being neutralized, and the defensive ones. And they should look at all the trends. You know what I mean? They should look at all the matches, I think, from your last, let's just say last 2 years. So... And I think they should look at these matches, particularly with these sort of no-name guys. I'm sorry to say that, but, I have a little disdain because, I just don't feel like some of those people should be winning against you. So maybe I have a little bit of disdain there. But they should be looking at how do these guys, do that? I mean, did you have a whole bunch of unforced errors? Outside of the unforced errors, what happened? And you shouldn't be able to notice trends. And also visually, they should be able to come up with stats on paper as far as your performance is concerned, and then they should be able to note on paper what your mental performance was, and how that was affecting you as well. So I think that's it. A new team's gonna have to be doing more than just coming out and throwing balls to you. I mean, you can give all that money to charity as far as I'm concerned. You can actually send some of the money to me. I could use a little help. I'm kidding. But seriously. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so, if you can get somebody who's really, really, really going to sit down and do drill downs, and pull together the stats, then I think that you will, that's one of the types of coaches that you should have. You should have somebody who's going to be into analytics. And this is great guy, freak, man. I think he writes for the New York Times. I follow him on Twitter. I'm at OhWorldGirl, OhWorldGirl. You can hire one of your assistants to go through my who I follow. But this guy is awesome on his tennis stats. Yes, I think his name is David, but he writes for the New York Times, and he wrote a couple of articles that were so good about you. It broke down the defense and some of your trends and stats and stuff like that. Honestly, Roger, I would try to get that guy. Can you hire one of your assistants or something? Go through, and I'm dead freaking serious. Go through my followers at A World Girl, and this guy writes for the New York Times. He writes tennis articles. They're not as frequent as what's that younger guy's name who always writes? I follow him too. I follow a gang of people in the tennis world, but this one particular guy doesn't write as many articles, but when he does, they're very much so stats focused, and he wrote a kick-ass article on you a year ago, to the point where I tweeted him and I told him how great the article was and how he broke down the statistics and the stats and what was going on with your game regarding the stats, the information and data that you could extract from what you needed to develop based on your stats. It was everything that I pretty much believed in. And, he just doesn't get to write that much. So if you can get somebody to go through my followers and find this guy, this writes for the New York Times once again, I would really think about quietly hiring him to, just have a couple of conversations with him on the phone and, because he is a stats guy. He loved it. You could tell he's passionate about it and that he really is thorough and doesn't mind doing it. And that's what you need. You need somebody who loves doing it, and can tell you everything. So I really hope that you go for that person because he was so excellent. Excellent, this guy. Yeah, so your new coaching team, I think should come up with a whole bunch of, trial period, you know what I mean? I want new development, and you've got to be open to the development as well. You can't shoot everything down. And I'll give you an example, a rough example. There's this man, I can't believe I'm freaking talking for 40 minutes. This is mad ridiculous. This man put this, this ad. He needed someone to help organize, and that's what I do, even though I don't sound that organized on these videos. But, I'm super good at organizing other people's lives, like way better than mine. I'm like super freaking good at it. And this man was like, I need someone who's anal retentive, and I need this. I need someone who's going to sort through this and that. And so I had told him, I said, well, what we could do is first identify what you want to be truly done. Like, is it organization for your business? Is it organization for your home? How do you want this to really benefit you? And so I said, and then we can, we can sort and categorize your papers in the way that you want, that goal to be supported. Do you want your expenses to be this certain way or this way or whatever? And then I was saying you and I would continue, whatever. I went down the line. It was like really organized. And then the guy writes me back and he's kind of like, you're spooking me out. He was like, you are too specific about this. Who are you, Halliburton or something? It was just really weird. And so then I wrote an email going, haha, well, what I meant is this and that, because he was like, well, why are you interested about my wants, which is like the weirdest question ever. I mean, clearly if you say you're hiring somebody, you want somebody to come on and help you, they need to identify what the hell you specifically want in order to be successful in helping you. They can't just come in and go, oh, well, let me just do what I want. I mean, I could do all I want at the end of the day. You'd be like, hell no, this is not the way I wanted it organized. This doesn't help me. So anyway, whatever. The guy, I wrote him back explaining even just a little bit more and not in the length that I typically do in these videos. I kept the email brief, I promise you. And he still wrote me back. He was like, nah, you're just not, you're still like sounding a little off to me. Were you really reading my ad? I was like, yeah, I read your ad. You said you need desperate help. You need somebody to come and help and organize, and you need someone who's anal retentive. So, whatever. But I immediately thought, I was like, okay, good luck, and I was like, this is the reason why you're so freaking disorganized in the first place. I was thinking with this man, because you completely reject organization, and it's not to say that maybe there was something that I wasn't seeing that I was portraying toward him. There is that element, but I really don't think so in this case. But getting back to you also, with the coach as well, you want to be careful you want to really step outside of yourself if you are rejecting new ideas from the coach, because there's certain things in your game that have not changed. And if you're going to bring on a new person, and you start rejecting stuff, then, it's not the person, the people, or the outside circumstances issue. So that's why I had told you that whole story. But anyway, listen, good luck. I'm going to go ahead and get off now because it's just 50 minutes. Crazy. And I will talk to you And all the best to you, Roger. And just keep plugging away this year. And don't lose your confidence at all. You are an amazing player, but you are, again, playing, you're playing in a time where people see how they can neutralize, your game. It doesn't have to do, honestly, I don't see any slowing down. I don't see any of that going on. You still are totally capable of, and it's just the truth, I would just avoid saying this if I truly didn't believe it and know it. And I do know what I'm talking about. There's no reason why you can absolutely not compete and be in top form and compete and win against the highest ranked players. You should be a high ranked player. Maybe all of being at number one right now, I just kind of feel like, you know what, you have Charlene and Mila and, Amirka, and you guys are, I just, to me, to a certain extent, I don't want to disqualify number one and stuff like that, but you're in a total different realm from a lot of these other guys too. You have, I imagine, a lot more going on. In addition, you know what, honestly, Roger, I feel like you've won a lot of prize money. You travel. I'm not trying to tell you about your life or anything like that, but I just feel like, some portion of motivation comes from not having certain things, and once you get it, it kind of like helps mellow you out just a little bit. So, and I don't think that that's just happened with you. I think that happens with certain movie directors where, the first couple of films are just amazing, creative, and engaging, and then people will be like, oh, this is just not the way it was before. Because I think, they're just natural levels and natural progressions that we just make that have to do with our needs. So anyway, have a good one. Let me just end it like that. Have a good one. Take care. And this video is just for you. Seriously. I mean, you and America can watch it. I'm just saying, anybody else on YouTube, I really don't give a flying whatever. Nobody's really going to watch it because it's like 46 minutes long. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Good luck with everything. And remember, be careful. And again, watch out. Watch yourself about what you're rejecting if you're getting a new coach, which hopefully you are. Watch what you're rejecting and what you're resisting, and know that might be the blocks of the change that you actually need. As discomforting and as much internal upheaval it might cause for you, and just notice, notice where you don't want to change inside, and things like that, or notice when you may shut down ideas, or you may turn yourself off when somebody is telling you something you may need to do in your game or something like that. Just notice that, that definitely might have to do with your development, because you do have to do some changes, and the type of changes that you have to do will be changes to your game. So this will be something different, so you will be out of your comfort zone. So you best to get ready to embrace your comfort zone if you want to continue taking it to the level that I know you can. You're in top form. There's no reason why you can't continue on. I don't even see why not for another 5 years if you wanted to. There's just no reason. But let's just talk about 2013 and 2014 right now. There's just no real reason why you shouldn't be performing at top level, winning tournaments, and moving up in your rankings eventually, But I think, like you said, just focus on winning the tournaments, and the ranking will happen, Just make sure, I think, just don't drop down in your rankings, and because it just doesn't make any sense for you to drop down any lower than where you are. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You're just way too talented, and that's just the truth. It's just entirely too much talent. But I think that Wimbledon this year is probably one of the major things that just really killed it. But it's all good. You could get it back. So anyway, I will talk to you soon. I'm just like going for real now. Take care. Bye. Love you, Raj. Say hi to Mirka and the girls. Mwah. To them. Bye bye.